What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to Double Coverage. Hope you're still living, loving, and breathing sport. I am Dom with the Great Man Sauce, episode 210. How you going? It's a little
210.
bit. You might be fired up tonight.
Mate, fired up is an absolute understatement. Let me just tell you and give you the pre-warning, ladies and gentlemen. There could be a few lemons getting fired off, Doma. Let me just tell you about that.
Back.
So stick around. Stick around. It is back, and it might. And you know, I'll tell you what. I made sure I bought a bottle of water because I'll be having a big gulp before I sing out the biggest lemon you've ever heard on this show. Let me tell you right now, I'm not happy.
No, he's not. He's not. He definitely isn't. It's back, and obviously, current state of affair for this show. Usual running sheet for us with the obviously covering the Euros, AFL, F1, UFC, and then in Hobby Talk, we'll talk about the Hobby Hangout. But just a few things I quickly want to talk about. NBA, I did make some notes. Bronny to the Lakers. Congrats, Sauce. That's good. You're guaranteed to keep LeBron.
Yep,
hopefully not on a supermax, but I think he's going to take less money.
Yeah, well, that's the reports that I have heard, right? That he's going to, if they obviously, there needs to be a bit of a guarantee there that they're going to get some guys in, and he's happy to take less money to bring in other guys to potentially, obviously, build a championship team, which is, you know, I was hoping, Dom, like I was like, if he doesn't not do this, what is the point of forcing them to get Bronny to the Lakers if he doesn't do this, right? So, look, he needs to do it. He needs to do the Tom Brady. You know, done it for years and years, and that's why he won 7 championships, yeah, right? So you got to do it, LeBron, and I'm glad that, you know, that's the reports. Obviously, there's a few free agents out there. One that is gone, definitely, from the pack, Doma, is PG.
He's gone off to Philly.
I mean, the memes are unbelievable. I'm not sure if you've seen them. Some of them are hilarious. There's like it talks about when he was at first. He was at Pacers. I want to bring a championship to this team. It's got like a quote. Then to the Thunder, same thing. Right? Said the exact same thing. Then to the Clippers, said the same thing. And then he goes to the Philly. He's going to say the same thing. But the reality is, I'll tell you the reality. Right? Before anything, they ain't going anywhere, Dom, because Embiid and PG will get injured. One of them.
It's just going to be Maxey playing by himself again.
Exactly.
So, good luck, Philly fans. The other one, CP3 went to the Spurs. It's a nice pickup there. Just to
he might average 15 assists a game with the amount of lobs he's going to throw it up to him.
Yeah, he's just going to lob it to Wemby, and he's just going to...
Lob City's back. City's back.
It actually is. It really is. And then the last one, so the second one, LeBron, all the reports this morning, it was like LeBron was trying to get Klay Thompson to come over to the Lakers, but he's gone to Dallas. So the Mavericks get another non-shooter. They can't hit a shot. So it'll be Luka still by himself again next year when it comes down to crunch time. But, you know, in all honesty, back on the LeBron thing, because of Bronny, I know everyone said, like, oh, he's just there to play for money now. He doesn't care about titles. I'm telling you, if LeBron James, I'll tell you what he's thinking, all right? No players ever played with their son before, number one. And he's going to say, well, no players ever played with their son, and no players ever won a title with their son in the NBA. So I'm telling you, LeBron is going to want to do that and just keep making more history and doing stuff and win at 40 years old. Mate.
Bro, I think that's the other thing that needs to be
the magic number.
underestimated, you know. If you win at 40, you can win a title at 40.
No source. This is the magic number. I think 2025 could be the year for the Lakers. 40 years old is Michael Jordan came back, played for the Wizards. All right? And 40 for LeBron is going to be, I want a chip at 40. That's I'm telling you, that's what he's set on. He has to be set on that. He knows the talks, what everyone's saying, all the Jordan stuff. He just turn around and be like, oh, I'm 40 and I won a chip and I was the main one, like one or the main guy or the second main guy behind Data Davis. Like, If you win the chip of 40, it's pretty big, if you ask me. But anyway, Jordan's still the GOAT with his inflated Chicago stats. That's also. I don't know if people
mate.
have seen that.
I was talking to people about that at
They would have
hangout.
you would have copped it. They would have thought you're the biggest conspiracy theorist of all time.
Oh, mate, it's proven fact. They had the whole 6 games, and that was only over a 6-game sample, Dom, and they inflated the stats by like 50%.
Yeah, it's very interesting. Anyway, we can keep that for another day, that one, when we haven't got so much on the cards. So also you can do a deep dive and probably get absolutely flamed. You get hunted like he's top 25 on the 25 list. So,
which we need to renew sometime in July, I reckon.
Yeah, July, definitely. We definitely will. That's it for the basketball. Let's get into the Euros source because it's getting juicy where we're at. But it's juicy, but at the same time, it's pretty crap because on one side of the bracket you have Spain, Germany, Portugal, France, Belgium. And obviously, after everything on that side of the draw has resulted, we have Spain, Germany, Portugal, France in the quarterfinals.
England's going to make the final. England's going to make the final.
I'm telling you, England or Netherlands will win the cup. If Netherlands knock off Romania, they have to then beat Austria or Turkey, which they can do, and then have to play England if they beat Switzerland in the semi. I'm telling you, it's going to be Netherlands or England. I just don't think England will win it because they're absolutely terrible. I watched them play against Slovakia, genuinely getting booed for 90 minutes and jeered and whistled at by their crowd for 90 minutes.
Yeah, they didn't start doing anything for till the 77th minute mark. I mean, the first half, the two best chances were Kobe Main, who shot from outside the box. They didn't even create anything in the first half.
Switzerland
they just did cardio for 45 minutes in the first half.
So bad. It was so bad to watch. And then Jude the dude has to score a freaking bicycle kick.
Oh, obviously cardio after they should be trying to attack more considering they conceded the goal.
That was actually a bicycle kick for Manny that was watching. Like, that's actually what a bicycle kick looks like, not a tricycle kick.
It was a good goal.
It was a great goal. I was sitting there like, oh, here we go. Mate, I'm cheering for Slovakia. Like, when Jude scored that goal, even I was like, whoa! I was like, what the hell is going on? Like, just out of nowhere.
Did you see his celebration? Did you see it, Thomas? Did you see what he done when he was walking down the pitch?
Yeah, well, apparently he's going to get banned. He's going to get this.
No, he's not. They can't ban him. You just give him a fine. That's it.
Mate. Anyway, so we've got Spain versus Germany in the next round source. Actually, before we get to that, Romania, Netherlands, your tip.
Well, Spain or Germany are making it through because if Spain or Germany get through, they're beating Portugal or France. I'm telling you.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with you.
France have been horrendous. Mbappe has been a shell of himself. They're nowhere near the quality of Mbappe, what we've seen at the World Cup, that type of Mbappe. Well, I mean, that's peak.
He has said that his mask is like obstructing his vision.
Okay.
I'm telling you, like I told you, mate, when I wore the goggles last season playing soccer, it's like horse blinders on, mate. You can only see you can't peripherals. This year I'm wearing contacts. You can see I'm still shit,
right,
but you can still see but it does have an impact.
Yeah.
For a guy that you don't wear that naturally. I do understand that, but still he does things that are unbelievable. They did only look threatening at times when he was making the attacks.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
So they just got no idea just the way that they set up the team at the moment.
I mean, they still didn't score, bro. It was an own goal anyway.
Yeah, well, good to see that. Colo Muani got the shot on target in the back of the net. Where was that in the World Cup final, you peanut? So
if he scores that, Messi doesn't have a World Cup.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah. And United would have bought you Colo and paid you £275,000 a week. Because that's what we do. We just buy
and then you
gun
would have ended
players
up
from
on the
tournaments.
bench.
Exactly. Yeah. Like Anthony.
I'm not sure if you've seen the reports. Sancho, obviously, once it's out of United, and I think maybe Arsenal will have tabled a 40 million offer for Sancho, trying to get him over. I mean, look, I will say,
he'd be good at Arsenal.
I think he'd be good. I'd take him. I would take him.
Score a hat trick against us when you play us to shut up Ten Hag. Well, the rumor on the street is it's pretty much confirmed that we're going to get Branthwaite and Delete at United, so that's a good start. We're selling a whole bunch of other people, but the big rumor at the moment is that we're going to get rid of Greenwood, but it could be a straight swap with Juventus for Chiesa. That's the big rumor, that he could be at United next season. So we'll see how that plays out. But as we always say on this show, and we've said on this show for freaking 3 years, if Fabrizio isn't reporting it, it's not true. So he's reported the Lit and the Branthwaite one, so that's why I'm happy. I'm like, beautiful. Getting some players in, very nice. Now I just need Fabrizio to confirm the selling of all the duds on the team. So we need to make some money. Ben says, can confirm Doma has been elite with contacts. It's good to know that he thought I was shit. That means last season when he played with me. But let's get your tip source. Spain versus Germany.
This should be
the final.
This should be the final. I mean, how this has worked out is just ridiculous. But it's going to be a great matchup. I think Spain will probably dominate the ball. Pedri and Rodri have just been phenomenal in this tournament in the midfield. They've just been unbelievable. But then on the flip side, Cruz has been amazing. Musiala has, been amazing. I think I mentioned to you, Musiala and Bellingham will always be compared sort of together. I think, Bellingham probably edges him at the moment because, what he's done in La Liga and so on. But Musiala, he's coming up the rank. He's proving in this tournament what an absolute beast he is. Who's going to have the better career? I'm going to put my neck on the line and say Musiala since it's all said and done, because I don't think he'll stay at Bayern his whole career. If he knows what's best for him, at some point I think he'll end up in the Premier League. But Doma, for the original question, after all my rant, I'm going to go with Spain.
I'm going Germany because I actually wanted Germany to win it before the Euros. We couldn't do a proper preview, obviously.
Regardless,
but the teams, obviously, the team I want to win is Portugal. But I actually thought, like football brain wise, obviously, I want Portugal to win for Ronaldo. That's it. That's the only reasoning behind that pick. But outside of it, if I sit down and use your football smarts and whatnot, and I know everything, the stats are against them with host teams not winning the trophies. I just thought that Germany has made a lot of inroads with that team from the failures that they've had at major tournaments in recent time. So, and there was glimpses of things at the World Cup. Yeah, they weren't great, but they showed some glimpses. And then they've got Nagelsmann there, and he's a great manager, and he's doing great things there. I'm going Germany. I think they'll win it because, like you said, they'll beat either Portugal or France.
Yeah, well,
either one of these teams.
The winners on this side, then, I mentioned last week, Spain, Germany, or France is winning the tournament. So, in my opinion, the teams on the other side that are left, and we'll go through that side of the draw and we'll take some picks, but I don't think they can win it.
Portugal, France. Who's your tip for that one?
I'm going to go with France.
I'm going to go Portugal.
So we're on the opposite side.
Yeah, I honestly think I'm with you. France has just been terrible unless they just make some changes. They got to play Griezmann in central midfield. He can't play out on the wing. He's got to dictate.
Griezmann has been horrendous.
Yeah, I know.
He's passing his final ball, which is usually so good when he plays for Atletico Madrid.
Yeah,
has been terrible. Yeah. Terrible. Now I'm not sure if that's the chemistry with the players or whatever it is, but it's just been horrendous. He's got into great spots, great movement, and nice flicks, and then when he goes to play that final pass that just needs to slide in the attacker, the striker, You know, he was having a go at Thuram, right, when he's played it first time, and he's played it up near his waist. Like, mate, what do you want him to do with the ball? Put the ball in front of him along the ground so he just has to take one touch and shoot. And then he's having a go at him. And if I was Thuram, I would have go, mate, how the fuck do you expect me to finish it when I understand you've chipped it up, you played it first time, but mate, you're chipping it up to my waist. What do you want me to do there? You know, you have to take 2 touches, and by the time you take that second touch,
you got no time at that level. It's like split second decision making. It's next level, mate. Next level. There we go. So we split Portugal, France, Spain, and Germany. Romania, Netherlands. They're still playing a round of 16 game.
Netherlands.
I'm going Netherlands. Also, Austria, Turkey.
Austria. They're on a phenomenal run. Look, Turkey have been good, but
I'm going to go Austria as well.
I think Austria is a bit more structured. Ragnick has got them playing very well. And yeah, they've actually got an underrated team. They've got some good talent.
They've got some players. Yep. And then obviously we'll get to that last. We don't know who it's going to be. Well, if it's going to be Netherlands, Austria in the last 8, who are you going to back? Netherlands or Austria? To make it to the last 4.
Jeez. I'll just go with the underdogs. Let's go Austria because I've watched a few Austria games and
they've been good. They played well. They played really well.
They play
the Gegenpress that Ragnick tried to play at United.
Yeah, no one wanted to actually press. And it was all disjointed, and they just the first pass through like hot butter.
Damari Gray dominated. That's why he got his big contract in the Saudi league. He's done nothing since. It's just that we got dumb footballers. They couldn't understand what Ragnick was trying to tell them. And then the last one, England, Switzerland. This is actually gonna be a good game.
Switzerland.
I'm backing Switzerland because I want them to win, but I think England at the moment, Bellingham has saved them in 2 games.
They need Kyle Walker. Should he be starting, Dom?
Nah, TAA takes a dump on him. I sent you a voice. I sent you a voice. I think was it a voice clip? No, when I saw you on, I can't remember. No, it was a voice clip. I don't know what it was, but
I remember.
The internet is undefeated, ladies and gentlemen. All right. The fact that Kyle Walker won the treble, he won the Champions League. Congratulations when he did it last season. All right, that was a fantastic achievement. But when he turned around to Thierry Henry and said, "Would you be able to take me in your prime?" And Henry was like, "Oh, be able to beat you in my prime." And Kyle Walker was like all smug, like, "Yeah, could you?" And then Henry just laughed in his face, like in front of him, just in person, laughed in his face and said, "You would have no chance." Kyle Walker, if he did not have pace source,
mate, he was getting turned inside out against freaking Slovakia.
Takes a dump on him.
He was getting turned inside out against Slovakia. Imagine having to go up there Thierry Henry. Come on, bro.
Kyle Walker, shut the F up. You got no idea, mate. You're not even better than Kieran Trippier, who plays on the other side. So
it could be a fair call.
Anyway, we'll see what happens there. But I'm with you. I think that left side of the draw, the winner will come from there. Either Spain, Germany, or France. Whoever's there. Because I don't think Portugal's going to win it. So
Portugal's losing to France, mate.
Yeah.
You can't beat Slovenia in normal time. Come on, bro. You think you're beating France?
No, they can't find the back of the net. Anyway, that's the Euros, mate. We'll see what ends up happening. All right, Sauce. I'm just going to hold off on the AFL. I'm going to go straight to the F1 because it was a juicy race. We've had 2 ripping races in a row. Absolute rippers. Good. And the winner was George Russell. Yes, ladies and gentlemen. George Russell.
It was a crazy race, Tom.
His second was Oscar Piastri, the Aussie, which is fantastic. Good on him. Carlos Sainz in 3rd. Lewis Hamilton in 4th. Max Verstappen in 5th. Ladies and gentlemen. Yes, you heard that correctly.
He was on pole.
He was on pole. I'll get to it. Nico Hulkenberg in the Haas finished 6th. The Haas. The Haas outdrove Sergio Perez in a Red Bull, which is
That
fantastic.
doesn't tell you one thing. That doesn't tell you one thing.
Kevin Magnussen in the other Haas was in 8th. Danny Rick finished 9th, and Pierre Gasly in 10th. Now,
Danny Rick in the points.
Now, there's a few names here that I didn't mention in the top 10. Charles Leclerc, not in the top 10, finished 11th. And Lando Norris, who's been on the tail of Max Verstappen. Verstappen extends his lead to 83 points. But if you didn't tune in, all right, a poor
I'm telling you, Doma, this was all a ploy. He was like, it was all a ploy, man. It was knock him out of the race, extend the lead. Doesn't matter. I don't finish first. No one else is close to me. Lando is the only one who could potentially catch me for the championship.
So if you didn't see it, they're going at it. So Verstappen had a poor pit stop. And it was like, I think 6.8 seconds.
Rear tire got stuck.
Yeah.
Didn't come off first go.
Because of that, Lando and him came out of the pit stop at the same time. Verstappen ahead of him, but the margin was obviously in that 1 second. So Lando can use the DRS to his advantage. And they were battling. And it was awesome to watch. They were going at each other for 7 laps. But on that 7th lap, so I think it was lap 4, on the break, you're not allowed to come and take a driver's space. And Verstappen, every time Norris got close, cut off his space, which is extremely dangerous because you can cause an accident. Norris went off on one of them, gave the position back to Verstappen. They jostled this and that. But then on the 7th lap or the 8th lap that they were battling at each other, Norris gets in front. And I don't think Maxi Boy was too happy. So he just bullied him off the road. Yes, he had a car's width on the side, and Max was like, "I'm just going to pretend I didn't see him here." Pushes him off. They come back. They touch, and then Lando Norris gets a puncture, destroys his front wing, gets some floor damage, and a puncture for Max Verstappen. At this point, both of those guys are 20 seconds ahead, so they're just limping into the into the pit. And fortunate for Max, he just needs to replace one tire, and he's back out there. Happy days for him. And Lando had to retire the car. Now, they weren't too happy with each other. Well, Lando just said if he doesn't admit to fault, he goes, "I'm going to lose a lot of respect for Max." And they are good friends off the circuit. So I don't know. Very interesting. Very interesting sauce. But it was a cracker. Absolute cracker race.
You can be good friends, but when you step on that track, there ain't no friends. And there's only Max Verstappen, and this is why we say, ladies and gentlemen, he's a nutcase. He's a nutcase. What was I sending to you, Tom? I'm like, what a nutcase! What a nutcase! I was losing it. I was just like, what is he doing? I was actually shocked. I'm like, this guy's not a peanut. He's actually crazy. He's genuinely crazy. And this is why he will end with the most world titles, Dom, because he's that crazy.
But I'm telling you, Sauce, my little conspiracy theory that I put forward about Red Bull, it's getting proven every single race that is now coming up in the tour. I think it was about a month and a half ago, 2 months ago, I said that Red Bull are panicking so much that all the funding is going into Max's car. That's why Perez is non-existent on these race days. Look, Leclerc, Norris, not even in the top 10.
Finished above him.
But think about this. Leclerc and Norris didn't finish in the top 10, all right? And he still finished 7th. Still finished 7th. That was a top 3 car at the start of the year. I'm telling you, they panicked. They can see that all these other cars are making up. Like Lewis Hamilton's car has got so much better. They're still struggling in the straight line, but the McLarens are the ones that had the significant improvement, clearly. And because Lando's car is just absolutely flying at the moment, they just put all the funding into his car. Perez has become a sacrificial lamb. I'm telling you, that's what's happened.
It looks that way, doesn't it?
If it was equalization of funds between those two cars, Lando would have easily won this race. They've done some great things. Anyway, there's a lot to deal with in terms of the outcome, but Max Verstappen did finish in 5th, and he got a handy
could he
points
cop a
boost.
seconds penalty in the next race for that, or cop a sanction, or
probably? I don't know. I don't know. Monday, Source, 12 a.m. Silverstone this weekend.
Big race. Another good track.
Great track.
Good overtaking. This will be a great race.
So it is a Mercedes.
Because there was 3 DRS zones in that Austrian GP.
Oh, so
look, when it's a good track where there's ability to overtake, it makes the race exciting. And now we're actually, as you mentioned, the cars have, the technology of the teams have caught up with each other, right? Obviously, earlier in the season, Red Bull had it all figured out. But it looks as though the other teams have caught up. Obviously, Lando, Piastri, Hamilton, Georgie Russell, even the Ferraris have been able to keep up.
Sainz has been good. Leclerc's stunk it up, but don't worry about him. He stinks it up all the time.
Yeah, well, if there's any doubt who's going to be number 1 in Ferrari next season,
I told you what they're doing, mate. Just freaking all the money.
They know they can't win with Leclerc.
Leclerc is about to become the Sergio Perez of Ferrari next season, mate. That is what is going to happen.
Yeah. You don't bring a 6-time world champion over there and make him the number 2.
7-time world champ.
7 times, sorry, yeah. Lewis. But yeah, come on, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah.
He's winning. I'm telling you, it's going to be undeniable.
Honestly, if he, we spoke about this. If he does do it, goes there and wins his 8. It is GOAT type stuff, right?
It is. You win a Ferrari, it's next level, mate. It's doesn't matter what you've done in the past,
and especially after how shit they've been for so long.
Correct.
What, the last time they won? What was when?
Sebastian Vettel. Was Sebastian Vettel win?
Did he win one with Ferrari? Because he was with them for a while.
Maybe he didn't.
I don't think he did. He only won when he was at Red Bull. Type it in. Ferrari's last world title.
Nah, 2007. That would be Schumacher. Oh no, Kimi Räikkönen. There
you go. Global. Welcome. No, he didn't. There you go. That's what we need you to chat.
Kimi Räikkönen, the last Ferrari champion.
Splendor, how are you, mates?
Oh my days. 17 years.
17 years. That's what I mean. It's been a long time between drinks, man.
That's yuck.
Still not as long as Essendon hasn't won a final, Dom.
Oh, well, Speaking of Essendon, let's get into the AFL. That's it for F1. As I said, Silverstone is this weekend, so tune into that one. So it was a big round of footy. Few upsets. I'll get to the results. I'll keep one game to the very, very end. Brisbane Lions get a 5-point win over the D's. D's were up and about in this game early, but, the Lions just persevered, got the job done. No surprise there. The Saturday game, the Dogs get a 17-point win over the Kangas. Sauce, you were at this game, mate.
I went to the game.
What have you got to tell me?
games I've gone to this year.
What have you got to tell me?
This is what I've got to say. From what I watched you guys against Hawthorn, it was a similar game, Dom, because the game was, it was pretty equal in the first quarter. Same with the Hawthorn game. And the second quarter, the Dogs got on top, right? They got on top. And it could have been a lot worse than what it was, but you held on. In difference in the Hawthorn game in that second quarter, you got blown out of the water, and it was, an unsurmountable lead when, going into halftime. But it wasn't. And you're even 30 points down at one point, and you started coming back in the fourth quarter. But it just baffled me to why you decided, you didn't give up. Your defense has actually gotten a lot better. Your defensive running patterns of your team, you do apply better pressure around the ball as well. But you waited to the last quarter to be down 32 points or whatever you were at that point to start taking the game on, Dom. And this is what kills me, Dom. It's not like you're on the, you need, it's a tough game. You need to win that game. You don't want to take too much risks or whatever it is because, you're in a tough spot in the eight, mate. You're dead last. or you're second last, or whatever, you're dead last. You got nothing to lose. Take the game on from the beginning. Who cares? At least try score 90 plus points, right? Try score 90 plus points. You didn't, you worried too much about the defending. And look, your defense has held up, which is good compared to earlier in the season. But you need to be able to score to win the game. And look, you lack a bit of composure sometimes going into forward 50. And I see the same thing with Essendon. So it's no different. There's a lot of teams that do it. But young side, you're getting better, actually improving. And you look at that. There's some games that you've got left that you could get some wins on the board. So hoping for the fans, because the diehard North fans that go out there on a Saturday 1:45 fixture against the Doggies, and they have half of the third level completely shut down because there's not enough fans to get into the stadium there at Marvel. I mean, I'm serious, Tom. If I go to Essendon games, you never see that in an Essendon game, even a 1:45 afternoon Saturday. Yeah, it'd still be 35.
Yeah, it's hard to watch. Yeah,
38,000, right? And that's no dig at your club, but I'm just saying, you want to get more people to the footy, more people to games like that. You got to play a more exciting brand of footy, and you just got to take the game on. You got the players there that can do it. You've proved it in the last few weeks that you can score big scores. So that's it. Just that was a game that you could have won. The Doggies haven't been that good this year, and you were in the game for most of the game. And Bontempelli had 35, and he had 35, but it wasn't his most damaging 35 that you would have ever seen Bontempelli. It was not one of those ones. You've seen him play because he didn't hit the scoreboard. He was 3 behind, missed a set shot right in front, cost me my same game multi, which I wasn't happy about. But I will tell you a little anecdotal story. There's number 4. Is that Aiden Core? Core, number 4.
Yeah.
Hey, I think in the second quarter at one point,
with Waitman?
Not with Waitman, but with Jamara. He sold him some candy. Okay. Absolutely beautiful. Sold him. Jamara bought the candy, went for the smother, completely went. Aiden Core stepped around him and just cleared it out of the 50. It was just beautiful, right? And it was just funny. He's coming back, and obviously I'm there. I'm with my North Melbourne mate. I want North to win, so I'm going, Jamara, how did the candy taste, Jamara? And I'm yelling. Everyone, all the North supporters are geeing up. They're laughing, right? And he turns around, he starts laughing. He's smiling at me. So for being a good sport, I'll give you a clap, Jamara. It was good. It was good to give you a bit of banter. I mean, that's about all you can say at the footy these days, Domo, because if you say anything else,
you would have got kicked out.
Exactly right.
The greatest video of all time came out of that game with your mate, because my favourite North player kicked the goal, and he knows that I'm not this North player's greatest fan. Not his biggest fan. And he kicked the goal, mate, and he G'd up, and he just gave it to me. It's the greatest video ever. I'm still watching it, mate. I just pissed myself laughing. Honestly, if you're having a down day.
The funniest thing is when he marked it, he turned to me and he's hitting me. He's like, Doma's favourite player. Doma's player. He's like this. He knew.
I went to one football game with this bloke, and I said to him, the guy's no good, and he's never going to let me forget it.
Never. Every time he does something good, he goes, see, he's all right. He's all right. But he'll stick up for every North player while they're wearing a North jumper. But the second they leave the club, they are a dog. Like Harry Mackay and Tom Goldstein.
Oh, man. And Horn Francis. Horn Francis.
Horn Francis is enemy number 1 with him.
He's got a dartboard at home, mate. He just throws darts. He's got Jason Horn Francis on it. So, all right. Other games. Freo get the upset win at the SCG by a point.
Massive.
I still can't believe Logan McDonald couldn't make
How does he not?
50 metres at the SCG. As we know, ladies and gentlemen, is more like 40 meters out.
How do you not make that as a key forward?
I don't know. I actually don't know.
Like, it should have been a draw. It should have been at least a draw.
Yeah, at least. Minimum. Fife actually tagged Heaney, did a good job. Had 8 clearances in that Fife in this game as a tagger. So, good on the old codger.
Maybe that's the team. We talked about them earlier in the season. They fell away. But maybe this is the right time of the season to start finding that form, Fremantle.
Yeah,
so if
100%.
they can and piece together that type of performance against teams, hey, what's to say? Freo might go deep into September. Never know. Maybe they're there on the last day. We'll see.
We'll see. The Suns get the job done against the Pies by 11, which is very nice. The
Suns
Crows
undefeated at home this season, I think, Doma. So
yeah,
it's
well,
an
they're going to
absolute
go.
fortress up there.
Well, they're going to play the Juggernaut in North Melbourne at Marvel this week. So good luck to them. The Crows defeat GWS by 16. As we've very recently been made aware, GWS were pretenders. So they just keep getting slapped every week. I'm going to leave the other Saturday night game to the very end. Sunday, we had Port defeating St Kilda by 2 points. I don't know. Port fans were celebrating. I don't know. There's not much to celebrate out of that, if you ask me. Sauce and I laughed.
The fact that it's 60-62 at Marvel Stadium.
It's such a Ross Lyon.
I feel sorry for Saints supporters, man.
It's
Why the fuck did you hire Ross Lyon again? Why? You knew what you were signing up for. He's an old-fashioned coach. He's old-fashioned. And the reality is, even though he can get results, and he's proven he can get results, mate,
look at his body of work when he went to Fremantle.
Proven that it does nothing. It doesn't win you a flag. It's lost him 2 grand finals, actually 3 grand finals.
Yeah, I don't disagree. The Hawks chugging along, go to Perth, win by 61. Hawks are playing good footy. They'll make finals.
They're going to make finals the way they're playing.
They make finals. Yeah. They're playing unbelievable.
Exciting football, too.
They got that belief. They got the belief like the next team, mate. They're the blue baggers, the belief baggers. That's what we should start calling them, mate. The belief baggers.
In that cafe in Brunswick, mate, let me tell you. I mean, I was there, news first. Not even the big dogs were down there, whatever, McClure, Barrett. No one nowhere to be seen, mate.
Hutchie. Where's Hutchie?
Double coverage.
John Ralph. They're nowhere to be seen,
mate. Only John from Double Coverage was down there live reporting on it.
Magda,
to the show that night.
Global says Hawks won't make finals. We'll soon see. We'll see. He said we should do a live ladder predictor. We'll get the ladder up in a second. And the last game of the round, Sauce, which was ring-a-ding-ding, Geelong versus the Bombers. And the Cats win by 45 points. I was watching this, so I feel your pain. I was watching it, and I was laughing my head off. I think you would not have been laughing your head off because you support Essendon, but I was laughing my head off. I couldn't believe what was actually happening in this game. So Sauce, I'm just going to throw it to you.
So I'll just run it through, ladies and gentlemen. First half, Essendon was well on top. Probably should have made more of the inside 50s than they did. Were a little bit wasteful. Could have been ahead a bit more at halftime, but we go in a goal ahead. Come out in the third quarter, and for some unknown reason, we didn't just play against 18 men. We played against 22. So we also played against the 4 umpires that gave us absolutely nothing and gave absolutely everything to Geelong, right, in that quarter. Even to the fact that they've come out and said that 2 of the decisions were clearly wrong and 2 which we disputed, they've said were fine. But that's okay. They can say they're fine. We'll go through them in a sec. But in reference to what was let go the other way, in terms of some of the holding the balls, was just ridiculous. I think we've gotten now to a point, Doma, where you never know what's going to be called. Ever. You really never know what is going to be called. You don't know what is a free kick and what is not a free kick. And it drives fans crazy. And I can only imagine what it does to the players on the field in that moment when, yeah, all right, you get one bad call, Oh, you get 2 bad calls. Then you get a third. Then you get a fourth. And then you don't get the same calls. All right, they made maybe 2 of those bad calls were there. But then those same calls that say you don't think were there, they've given them. That same consistency isn't shown to you on the other side of the ball. You know, when you've made those acts or done those tackles or whatever, and you don't get the same calls, it's disheartening. I will say, I mean, disappointed in the way Essendon responded to that, and you know, I think Brad Scott spoke about that. That, you know, the way we responded, because at the end of the day, Don, we were only down 20 points or 22 points at 3/4 time, and you come out, you impose your will again. Maybe you kick the first one of the quarter, you get some belief, you kick the next one, and it's game on, right? But it changed the momentum of the game. You know, it started with the Draper non-chopping the arms, which was, you know, clearly a free kick. Then they got a Ridley holding the ball, which
disgrace.
Dom, whatever happened to prior opportunity? Whatever happened? Did he have prior opportunity to get rid of the ball?
It was a disgrace.
No, he did not. So therefore, doesn't matter. He's got one hand free. So if he just dropped the ball trying to get it on his boot, but misses the boot, because that's what Tom Stewart did in his situation.
I was about to say that.
Tackled them.
3 guys.
It's okay.
3 guys. Yeah.
It's okay.
It's
okay. So that's what the rule. That's what they're telling me that rule is. Doesn't matter if you've got one hand. Just throw it at your boot. Who cares? Doesn't matter if it doesn't hit, because technically you attempted, right? You attempted.
It's a disgrace.
So that's what the rule's telling me. No, if you read in between the way what they didn't give against Tom Stewart, and then what they have given against Ridley, and they've come out and stated that decision against Ridley was holding the ball and was correct. Well, that's what I read between those two. So as long as you attempt, the ball can fumble out. You could not get a clear handball. You could not hit the boot. Doesn't matter. It shouldn't be called holding the ball because you are tempted. Whatever happened to incorrect disposal? I thought that was still in the rule book, Doma.
I don't know what happened with the rule book.
So this is what I'm saying. There's too much things to debate in this game, and it's starting to really annoy me, Dom, that you're having now not only the umpires are having too much of a impact on the trajectory of the games. You know, momentum swings in AFL. We've seen it. It is a game like NBA is a game of runs. Teams go on runs. AFL is a game of momentum, right? Same runs, momentum, runs. Same thing. Your team goes on a run, gets a momentum. When it changes that momentum, when Draper should be having a line, a shot 30 meters out, directly in front, 35 meters out. Now, no guarantee it's Sam Draper. He might not kick it, right? Because he's not the best set shot.
Regardless,
it could have been 12 points up. Now we're equal. And then we get another bad call. Then we're 6 points behind. Then we get another bad call. And it didn't stop there, Don, because, you know, Dangerfield got away with a clear throw at the start of the fourth quarter, like 5 minutes into when Dangerfield got away with that throw in the middle of the ground in the fourth quarter, I stopped watching the game. At that point there, I said, if you're not going to call that, where he's literally just the arm is pinned. So if one arm pinned here, how the fuck did he get it behind him there? Tell me. How did you cut there's 4 umpires, Dom, now. There is 4 umpires.
8 eyes, 4 umpires and 8 eyes. And as the show title says, worse officiating. Straight up.
Well, Dom, you know what? Look, it's just unbelievable. I can't.
Yeah, but the cherry on
I don't think I've ever seen something like that.
The cherry on top was Andrew Dillon today when he came out.
I was about to bring that up, Dom.
That was the cherry on top.
This is the cherry on top. I'm not sure if you've seen this. This is an article on 9 Wide World of Sports, and they're reporting. As good as it's ever been, AFL CEO Andrew Dillon defends umpires after admitting several mistakes. That's the headline. Let's just get some quotes from Andrew Dillon. We're in the second year of a 4-umpire system, so we're on a journey with that system, he said. There's always been a focus on umpiring. It's been around since I've been around, and it will continue to be. But because to be, but because the competition is so tight, maybe there's an interested focus, right? It's an incredibly tough game to umpire, and we've got elite decision makers. They're continuing to work on their craft, right? What is this continuing to work on their craft, Andrew Dillon? They should be working on their craft in the VFL. Did you ever think to try the 4 VFL umpires first? In the VFL, let's do 4 umpires in the VFL. See how that works in the sample, in the waffle out there before you board it into the AFL. Because in my humble opinion, since they've moved to 4 umpires, the umpiring has gotten worse. And we've also found out that umpires get coached in their ear from another 5th umpire that sits in a fucking box that watches all the screens. So AFL has a pretty much has a in-play VAR that runs all the time.
Yet every goal that goes in has to be go to a score review. Well, every score. That's the other thing too. You've got more eyes and more officials on the field, and yet there's more reviews than ever before because there's no confidence. The goal umpires don't even have confidence to make a call anymore. Like it's pretty sad. The state of affairs on the way that it's going at the moment has been atrocious. That was honestly the icing on the cake. We spoke about how bad it's been this year in general, but what I watched in that game was genuinely a disgrace. And I spoke about one last week, and people might be like, yeah, but you never complain about your team. I came on this show last week and I spoke about Sheasel when he literally beat 2 Melbourne guys and they pinned his arm and he lost the ball, but he threw it up in the air and dropped it and they called play on. And I said, we're lucky to get away with it, but he should definitely have been holding the ball. Like you can't, the moment you elect to fend someone off, if you get the fend off, right? I don't care if you fumble the ball and you get tackled while you're fumbling the ball, it's holding the ball. There's no, there is
the other option, Doma, and I'm telling you, this is coming from someone who played junior footy. I was just taught at junior footy. If you're gonna go into the tackle, you want to lift your hands up above, like Cripps does, all the great players are able to do, and get the handball out, right? Try and get the handball out. Now, that's what the AFL wants teams to do because they want to keep the ball in play, the ball in motion, less stoppages, right? That's the aim of the game and keep it more in motion. But what they're doing now is ruining the game. And the fact that Andrew Dillon has come out and said it's as good as it's ever been.
Nah, it's bad. You can't say that. You should look, if you said it's a work in progress and we see that there's some areas that we need to definitely fix, you get more credibility. I know I see all the great discussion in the chat. I can't bring everything up, but Global makes a good point here because it's the most recent comment. He said, umpires call free kicks from 80 meters away when the umpire within 5 meters lets it go. I agree. I've seen that happen so many times where umpires are just looking at each other and going, like, what have you called? Like, this is my zone. Like, it's unbelievable.
Anyway, so look, considering it's the best it's ever been, Mr. Andrew Dillon, I disagree. Everyone in the chat disagrees. I think pretty much the whole of the AFL fan base disagrees because I haven't seen a few of my mates giving some shit about this comment today on the socials. For that, sir, you are a lemon, absolute lemon, Andrew Dillon. You're ruining the game. The AFL has gotten worse. It's the reason why, Doma, and I'll say this on record, the best games in the world are darts, I'm telling you, and tennis with electronic linesmen. No, like they have at Wimbledon now, like they have at the Australian Open and US Open. The French Open's still a bit flawed. Those tournaments there are the best sports in the world because only the skill of the player matters. Especially in darts and now tennis that I thought about it, that's another good game. These games, NBA, AFL, NFL, football has always been corrupted.
Oh, man, soccer's terrible.
That can be influenced by referees and umpires and officiating so much are ruining these sports. And I'm not sure, I'm sure any US, football supporters, there was some big controversy in the USA versus Uruguay game today,
mate,
where it's horrendous. I've seen some of the decisions.
Unbelievable.
Absolutely horrendous. I would be filthy.
It's borderline corruption.
It reeks of corruption.
100%.
So it's been ruined. These sports are being ruined by this manner, by this situation of and you don't know what it is. Did you ever think the A League here in Australia would get done? Guys would get done for match fixing and things like that. Well, it's happening, ladies and gentlemen. Match fixing in the A League. What's to say? We know match fixing in the Italian league back in the day, right?
Happened in the Premier League.
It still happens.
Yeah. It's crazy.
And
anyway, they need to fix it, mate.
And I don't want to say anything, untoward, but
the Blues are winning.
What's to say it doesn't happen with the AFL umpires?
The Blues are winning the flag.
What's to say, mate? The Blues. You know why the Blues are winning? Because the AFL wants them to win. Because it's their turn to have their go at it. Like Richmond got. You still got to have a good team and win games of football.
Yes,
right?
I understand what you're saying.
But you'll get that portion of you get calls in those areas of when you've got that great team around you to get you over the line. I'm telling you, portions of games are rigged. I don't care what anyone wants to say. Portions of games are rigged. The whole game can't be rigged, but portions of games are rigged by umpires to influence decisions. Now, it could be a conspiracy theory. I don't think so because as I just proven then, there's multiple sports that have been and people that have been found out to rig games. No one's ever been found out in the AFL, but look, I can nearly guarantee it would happen. I could guarantee it would happen. Stuff like you can bet on umpire.
Didn't an umpire get done in the AFL? Got banned for life.
Yeah, I think he did.
2 years ago.
Thank you. Proven point.
Like something to do with Brownlow. He was betting on Brownlow and he knew about the votes. Wasn't it something like that? He did something like that. So they could definitely, impact it. All right, let's get to the fixtures for this week. Collingwood, Essendon.
I'll go with I'll back Essendon in. Well, I don't know if we can bounce back, but
I'm going Collingwood. North.
I think the Pies will win, but
North versus Suns.
I'll pick Suns. I don't know. I just can't pick North.
I'm back in North again. Port versus Bulldogs in Adelaide.
Port Adelaide.
Yeah, I'm going Port as well. Geelong Hawthorn. GMHBA.
Hawks.
I'm going Hawks as well. They'll win this game. Giants versus Blues in Sydney.
Blues.
Yeah, I'm going Blues as well. Dockers, Richmond, Optus.
Dockers.
Melbourne versus West Coast at the MCG.
Jeez. Melbourne?
Melbourne.
No, Melbourne.
St Kilda, Sydney at Marvel.
Sydney. They'll bounce back this week.
I'm going Sydney as well. And the last game is the Lions versus the Crows at the Gabba.
Lions.
Done. Lock those tips in, ladies and gentlemen. All right, Sauce, I'm going to throw to you for some UFC.
Yes, Doma. It was a massive, massive card. I'll bring it up just so we can run through and and we'll talk about a few of the fights. I was able to see some of the fights, and then I was able to watch the main fight. So I hadn't, had something on Sunday. So it was a bit difficult.
I know. I was there with you, and we watched the main fight together. Funnily enough.
So we'll run through a few of the pre-card. We'll talk about this guy, Peyton Talbot. Just watch out for him, ladies and gentlemen. I think I talked about him last time. I think 19 seconds he KO'd Yanis Gamori. He's going to be good, and he's just up and coming. So, watch out for him in the bantamweight division. He's going to be an absolute beast. Then we had Ian Gary Machado defeating Michael Page, Venom Page. Oh man, it was not convincing. Ian Gary, he just wrestled for most of the time. Venom Page had the better of the striking, but he sort of didn't do enough when it was on the feet. And Gary sort of won just with control time on the ground, because even on the ground, he didn't really do much with it. He just sort of held him there, threw a few punches. Yeah, he didn't try to do any submissions or anything like that. So, yeah, I don't know. It could have been given the draw. I don't know. It was one round, and then in the third round, Ian Gary was able to get a bit more control time. I think that's maybe where he edged the fight. Macy Kiasen, TKO, doctor's stoppage on Mayara Bueno Silva. That was a good fight. Then we had Roman the Lids defeating Anthony Smith in a third round decision. And then I'm not sure if you've seen the absolute craziness that what happened in this fight. So this was supposed to be Diego Lopez versus Brian Ortega at flyweight, I think it was. And then Ortega couldn't make fight, couldn't cut any more weight, so they fought it off. They were due to fight at a higher weight, and then the morning of the fight, Ortega woke up, obviously, violently ill, so he wasn't able to even take part in the fight. So they call up Danny Ying. They say, "Hey, brother, are you home? You live not far by. We need someone to fill in." So he came in, he stepped in. The fight went 3 rounds. It was a crazy, it was a good fight. Diego Lopez still got the win in the end in catch weight, which is sort of like what they give it if it's like, there's no set weight, because I think Danny Ing weighed in at like 164 and Lopez weighed in at like 161. Good win by Lopez in the end, because his opponent changed the day of the fight. And then the winner in the main event, Alex Pereira, obviously, if you haven't seen it, he kicks the guy in the head, right, and knocks him out pretty much. So it all started in the first round, where I said, what was I saying to you? I said, don't worry, that left hand's coming, the left hook's coming. And it came right at the end of the round and absolutely rocked Yuri. And then you could tell Yuri wasn't, he went to the corner and, he was even struggling just to get to the corner. He gets there. He was saved by the bell in the first round. And in the second round, Alex Pereira came out and absolutely finished it with a head kick right at the beginning of the round. Congrats to Pereira. It's the stuff of like legends, right? Taking a fight on 2 weeks notice, 2.5 weeks notice.
It's unbelievable. He's
literally doing promo shit here in Australia. Out here visiting gyms, signing autographs. It was with our good friend Tyson Beck up in Sydney. Like, he was out here, right? So obviously signing Tyson Beck cards and whatnot, right? Because Tyson did a drop, so that was pretty cool. And he goes out there and puts in a performance like that, right? It's massive. And I said after this, what needs to happen is I don't want to see him up at heavyweight. I want to see a rematch between him and Adesanya, because it's 1-1. Adesanya is the only guy to beat him in the UFC. I want to see Adesanya fight him again. I want to see the trilogy.
I know. Well, if Adesanya wins, it'll be champion v champion, and then he'll not unify the belts, but he'll hold 2 championships in 2 divisions. And then,
Adesanya's got to play Duplessis first.
Yeah, he's got to beat Duplessis. But regardless, even if whoever wins that, Pereira should just try and fight Duplessis and just beat him.
And win it again.
And then you know what happens after that, Source? John Jones comes back, wins the title. Everyone's talking about he should go to heavyweight and fight John Bones Jones. Pereira goes up to heavyweight with 2 titles. And he tries to be the first person ever to have 3 championships.
That would be dope.
That would be cooked. And imagine he beats John Jones in heavyweight, and he has 3 titles.
Oh, I wouldn't go as far as saying he could beat John Jones.
No, but just imagine that happen. And then at the end he goes, pound for pound, chama. That's what he says. That's all he has to say.
That would be the best line. It would be imagine. Yes, that would be the best.
Pound for pound, chama. That's it. And he drops the mic and he walks off with 3 titles like a king. Big Potan. Oh man, he's unbelievable. He's unbelievable. So, is there a card this week?
Yes, Doma, I think there is. Hang on, let me go back. Upcoming this weekend. Hang on, is it the 14th? No, that's next weekend.
That's next week.
So no, there isn't. There's a card. Right. No card this weekend. We'll preview that one next week on the show.
Beautiful. All right, Sauce, let's get to hobby talk. And obviously, we've got one topic and one topic only, and that is the hobby hangout. And you all be glad to know, whether it's public knowledge or not, there is another show on the 14th of November that has been announced for here.
The hobby hangout?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
We thought we were only getting one this year. No. See, that's, they put on a good show. The people came out. They realised the success, and obviously they've realised, it's a must go for 2 shows in Melbourne. Which that's all down to the people that rock up, right? The vendors that set up.
Show, Sunday the 17th of November.
Yeah, that's all down to the people that rock up, the vendors that set up. Obviously the people that are supporting the show. Keep coming out, because the more you come out there, obviously the more the promoters of Hobby Hangout see that it's a successful event, and obviously the event is making money. Because the reality is for them to keep putting on these type of events, they do need to make some money out of the event through ticket sales and whatnot. Congratulations to obviously everyone that stepped in through the doors. It was a good turnout. I was only able to be there sort of for an hour into the show, unfortunately, just because, for things that were out of our control, Doma, one of our very good friends, it was, he had an event on which we couldn't miss. Look, regardless, it was still a successful show, and obviously people will still set up at the double coverage table on our behalf. So
the Oracle
went past and said hello. So thank you very much. The Oracle.
There you go. The Oracle said security guard said 960 people through the door.
Yep, brilliant.
It's good. Amazing. That's fantastic. That is really, really good.
Great stuff, guys. Really, really, really great.
If there's any feedback on your thoughts, what did you see there? Was it more heavily TCG on the day? Was it a mix?
Yeah, there was a bit of a mix. Obviously, heavy to Pokemon. I'd love to see, people start diving into other realms of TCG stuff. There was, one guy who had some really cool Dragon Ball, and when you just see Pokemon. I mean, I love Pokemon, right? Don't get me wrong, I love Pokemon, but for me, Dragon Ball's the best anime there is to ever be invented on the whole planet, right? That's my, and people might dispute One Piece is better, whatever. That's your preference, right? Like, we all have different preferences in drinks and whatever, everything else in life, right? Dragon Ball's my go-to, right? I still watch some episodes, and it's great because they're 20 minutes. You just chuck an episode on, it's mind numbing. It's not, you don't have to think too much, and it's great action. And he just had some really, really, and I seen it straight away, like stuck out like dog's balls, Dom. He had like half a case full of just Dragon Ball. And, after you see Pokemon, boom, that sticks out. So it'd be good to see some more people with a bit more Dragon Ball, some other TCG like One Piece, I don't know, Demon Slayer, some other stuff in there as well. I didn't get to go have a look through, every table. Even though I was able to walk in the doors early, I did get there very, very early just because I was like, well, I can only stay an hour into the show. So sort of like I need to get there early to make the most of it. I was able to, speak to a few of the people who I hadn't seen that were set up as vendors, hadn't seen them in a while. So it was great to, while they were setting up, go around there and scour through their table before anyone was able to walk through the doors, right? And look through a few things. And I did pick up some stuff, Dom. So I'll do a bit of a show and tell.
John says, Jake Matthews was great, good chat, and signing for kids. She's good.
Yeah, Jakey Matthews is tops. I'm not sure, if you're not following him, Jake's Breaks, make sure you follow him. Unfortunately, I think his old Instagram got hacked or something. So he did have like 4,000 followers at one point, I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
So he's under the 1,000. So go follow him. And yes, he's really good, you know, even to the point, like, it's interesting, you know, you break with him and he says, if you hit a card of mine, I'll sign it for you and send it out to you, right? So, like, you know, it's awesome that he's doing stuff like that. And as you said, signing for kids, and he's out there, and we're hoping we can get him on the podcast. That would be amazing. So obviously we'll reach out to him because we know he's in the space. He does some breaking and things. But yeah, it'd be great to be able to get, you know, athletes like that, see the success that obviously Jakey Matthews is having in growing his brand in the card space, and maybe other athletes are persuaded to come do those type of things at these type of events. You know, whether it means they get a cheeky brown paper bag under the table, or for some reason or another, and there's other things that can be sorted, or whether they come on their own accord just to grow their brand and whatnot. It'd be really, really great. But yeah, look, I'll show you what we got. I'll show you what we got. By all reports, actually, the show was really good. You know, as you said, the Oracle who set up at our table said he had one of his best shows ever. There was a lot of trading going on, a lot of deals he was able to make. So I think vendors were pretty happy from all reports, and you know, I'm sure patrons were pretty happy. From the patrons that we know that went there were pretty happy. There is, you know, anyone, I will say this, if you ever go into this show looking for like baseball and NFL, there's not really ever that much there. You might find little pockets, but it is predominantly like basketball, Pokemon. You get some other pockets
AFL,
of BCG,
soccer.
And there's AFL and soccer, and there's a few that represent soccer, and that you know, I picked up a few soccer pieces, so I'll bring myself up big, Doma, so we can do a bit of a show and tell. So hang on, we'll go through here. We'll go from like, we'll go from sport to sport. I'll start with the basketball, and we'll go to the soccer. So I bought basketball and soccer. I picked this one up. I think it's on card. I don't think it's a sticker. I think that's also why I buy it. It's a Miles McBride. So he's from the rookie ticket. Miles McBride, on card auto. Obviously, Doma, you never pay the ticket price. Offered 20. He accepted. I didn't even look at comps. Right? I just seen it, $20 on card auto, Miles McBride. Yes, it's non-numbered, but I mean, from what I've seen him play in the last sort of 2 seasons, I think he could be a number 1 point guard. Maybe, you know, you buy this for $20, I sell it for $50 in the future when he gets traded, or potentially maybe he gets a number 1 role somewhere else. And if he keeps playing behind Jalen Brunson and having success off the bench for the Knicks have a massive fan base, so I'm sure at some point someone will buy that. That's my thought process. So it's obviously just for a flip. And I actually think he's a good player. So Miles McBride, from what I've seen. So I think there's potential there. Then I was able to pick up. Now this is probably one of my favorite pickups. I came back later on because I was like, oh, I'll think about it. My first Pau Gasol auto, obviously, you know, Laker legend, retired number. You know, watched him win the back-to-back championships with Kobe. It's unfortunately, Doma, it's one out of one of the newer sets, which is 22-23. Unfortunately, so it's a sticker auto, but I did make sure that the whole auto was on the sticker. So that's sort of one of my predefining things. You know, if I'm going to settle for a sticker auto, the auto's got to be 100% on the sticker. You know, I'm not settling for those ones where it goes off the sticker and you can tell that if you sent that in to get graded, oh, I don't even know why I'm talking about that, because it's not getting graded. It's a waste of money, but it would get a 10 auto in that sense. So there's that. And you know what? It's a yellow patch, matches the yellow jersey he's wearing in the card. It is numbered to 75, and it is a game-worn used material. So There was a few factors there that were ticked off. Even though that's out of a newer set, it says closed, game-worn, used material. And, you know, I was like, you know what, I'll compromise. I actually paid $75 for that. In the end, he had it there for 100. Once again, didn't look at comps. I was like, you know what, I'm going to not look at comps. I'm just going to go, I think that's fair. I don't care that I've overpaid for it because I'm probably not going to sell it. It's one that's going in my collection. Yeah, Pau Gasol was instrumental in those championships. All right. 100%. Now we'll move on to some football, round ball. I picked up this Gabriel Jesus numbered to 225. It's just my first Jesus card. I thought, you know what, I found it there. $15. I didn't even argue with price. Probably overpriced. Probably should be like $7 or $8. But you know what? It was someone I know, someone who does some good stuff, a lot of good stuff in this space, and provides a lot of great service to people. So I was happy to pay the little bit of extra money and, you know what, get the card and chuck it in the collection. And then I got this same card from that person, Theo Walcott, on card order out of Immaculate, numbered to 75. And the best part is that's an Arsenal patch. That's not a you know, even though he's wearing the England kit.
It's a cracker.
And that's out of 2017 Immaculate. This is what, and you know what made me knew straight away that it was like, you know, enclosed player worn material. But it's got the Arsenal patch, and you know that's what they did in that older set. They put the Arsenal patch in there because they didn't have the England jersey. But yeah, pretty cool. Theo Walcott. So $25. And this is what I mean, ladies and gentlemen. You don't need to have a big budget to buy a bang of cards. You know, Theo Walcott was a great player to watch when he was at Arsenal. Unfortunately, probably didn't live up to what his potential could have been. He had phenomenal pace. At one point, he was the quickest player in the Premier League, no doubt about it. I'll tell you that right now. And he was an absolute gun on FIFA because he had pace, right? So I used to absolutely abuse the shit out of him when I used to thrash FIFA back in the day. I've got this one here. This is the one I was telling you about. This is number 1 of 75, Andrea Pirlo, in the Italy kit, but I think it's Juventus kit inside. It's player. It says player worn used material. So it doesn't say game worn. So I'm guessing it's not game worn. I don't know. What it could be it could be, you know, training, something from training. Who knows? They don't really give you much definition on it. It's from 2021 Obsidian Soccer, but my first Andrea Pirlo card. So obviously the Italian great that won World Cups, completed everything in his career. I think won Champions Leagues, the works.
With AC Milan.
Yep, and it was an absolute gun. And then I picked up this. There's only one Australian guy I bought. I was nearly going to buy a Mark Viduka auto, but once again, it was a sticker. It wasn't signed fully on the sticker. Yeah. And I'm like, I can't bring myself to buy it. If I'm settling for a sticker, the auto's got to be complete on there, right? So I didn't buy it.
I'm keen to see who this is.
So I bought a Timmy Cahill.
Oh, Timmy.
Another one to the collection. I've got 2 other variants of this exact same card. That's good. So now I've got 3 of the numbered. And I'm not, it's numbered to 199. And love it. And it happened to be graded a PSA 8. I don't really give a shit about the grade. I might even crack that out because the other ones aren't even in things, and put it in slabs and literally just put it in a top loader like with my other ones. So I might crack that out. I might not. But that was what I picked up, Doma, and that was just me and going around and seeing what I could find was in that short time that I was there. But it was great to see people and great to see a few new people that we've seen them build themselves up through breaking, and they got a bit of a breaking page, and then they've taken the plunge to set up there at the Hobby Hangout, and by all reports they've had a banger show. They did a repack, sold out all their repacks at the show. So take the plunge, breakers. Do something a bit different. Go out of your comfort zone. Set up at the show. Well, I'm telling you, Hobby Hangout Melbourne is the biggest and baddest show in the nation. I can't speak for Sydney because I haven't been there, but I really want to get there to the next one. So whenever that may be, if it's next year or whatever, hopefully I can try and get there. But nonetheless, it was a successful show by all reports, Doma.
Well, that's great to hear. And like I said, 17th of November, Sunday, the 17th of November, I'll be hanging out 2.
Yeah, put it in the calendar.
I've got it in. I've put it in. I've put it in my calendar right now. I've done it. All right. I'm hoping to be there. I do want to see you all. I want to catch up with you all. I miss you all.
We want to be able to get the point to be able to do a live podcast from there. I mean, we'd love to. We'd love to be able to do a live podcast from there and set up and do some run some really good content.
Get them all in. Get all the greatest hits in through the door. The Messiah, bring him back. Try and get Dan the Card Man from Sydney. Hopefully, you can come down to a Melbourne one. Yeah, we'll see how we go. But
Doma, before you move on, let me just share this. So this is the Melbourne Card Fair coming up on the 21st of July. So if you have FOMO and you couldn't get there,
I'm going to try and get
the Melbourne Card Fair, 21st of July. It's held in the usual spot there at the Big Plans in North Melbourne.
I'll try and get there. It'd be good.
Make sure you check it out. You can follow them on. They do have an Instagram page, but it's not as frequent posting is Shano on there. So make sure you follow
Shano.
Their Melbourne Card Fair. Yeah, he does a good job, Shane. He's really good. Obviously it's not the big banger show that Hobby Hangout is, but you know what?
It's consistent.
It's consistent. He runs them multiple times a year. There's some great vendors that still set up there, and there's always a lot of great stuff to find going through these shows. And there is always vendor turnovers. So because there's quite a few of them on, not always the same vendor can make it to that show. So you'll see new vendors popping up and whatnot. So make sure you get down there Sunday, July the 21st. It's pre-order your tickets because it's $6 if you pre-order it, and it's $10 at the door. So you might as well sell $4 because then he's usually got a coffee van. You use that $4 to buy the coffee.
Nice.
So there you go.
Beauty. Good way to end on a positive note for this week's source. Once again.
Wait, last thing before we move on, because we had the Hobby Hangout. Last thing, and I'll just got to bring this up, and this is just a quick one.
Okay.
And look, I don't know if all retailers are doing this, but this is just something I went on to see, when the next One Piece box is getting released, and Gameology are taking pre-orders for a product that releases in 21st of March 2025. Is that not ridiculous that they're taking pre-orders on something that's 6 months out?
No, 2025. That's freaking like 8 months.
Is that not ridiculous?
But I hope they get.
What's your thought?
But I hope they get allocation. Would be
no, they'll get allocation because they're the biggest. They're the biggest. There is in terms.
The problem is you lock yourself in at that price. What happens if it's cheaper elsewhere? That's the only thing.
I just think it's ludicrous to be taking.
I've seen it
pre-order 8 months out. I think that's just nuts.
I've seen that happen before somewhere though. It's not like.
Yeah, but I think
it happened. But yeah,
it's different if you're taking a pre-order. I shouldn't say that, but mate, it's printed demand, mate. Like, there's no numbered cards, there's no serial cards in One Piece. They can just print as much as they want.
Yeah, but they'll do it as I don't know why they've done it that way. To be honest, I'm
not sure if you've also seen the absolute downfall in the Pokemon 151 boxes. So we thought the 151 was going to be.
We said on the show that it's print on demand. What the hell do you expect?
Well, we warned you, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, I bought some because I like the original set, but I didn't go. People were putting away cases and cases of this shit, mate. The Japanese version, which was at one point $110 to $120 a box, is now going for $52 a box.
If you were hoarding it as a case, the moment you found out they were going to print on demand, I would have pulled out those and said, "Oh, this is first edition of Print Run," and sold them. That's what I would have done.
Crazy, ladies and gentlemen. Look, collect. This is why we say, find avenues you like to collect and collect it. If you don't have the expendable income to buy the big cards, don't buy the big cards. As I said, I went to the show. I had a budget for myself that if I'm going to spend, it's going to be $200. I kept pretty well to that budget. Set your budget and go, you know what? That's what I can afford to spend at this point in moment. And that's it. You need to sort of restrain yourself, even to the point I was nearly close to buying a $400 box. It's not like I couldn't afford it, Dom. I could afford it, but at the same time, it's like mate, imagine what $400 could buy you in singles, man. Like if $200 got me all these
100%.
awesome cards that I just got there. What could $400 get me, sort of? So when you think like in that manner, it just you're less and less inclined to buy those boxes at those ridiculous prices, if you ask me. So anyway, just want to bring that one up.
That's always good that you see that stuff, mate. We bring it up and we give our little opinion on it. And how about the double coverage family, mate? So anyway, it's a good show, good info. I'm glad that our hobby hangout was a great success. So we look forward to that second one, mate. And like you said, card fair, Melbourne Card Fair on the 21st of July. That'll be a cracker as well. I'll try and get down to that one for sure. Park there at Arden Street, mate, right in front of North Melbourne Football Club. I just like to, stand out there sometimes, like that meme of Pablo Escobar from Narcos. He's pondering. I just stand in front of it and I look at the club and I ponder and I go, we're going to win a premiership this season, mate. On that note, keep living, loving, and breathing sport. I'm Dom with the great man Sauce. Peace out.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Thank you for tuning in. Please don't forget to leave a review on the Apple Podcasting app. Also, follow us on socials, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and TikTok. Talking all spots, double coverage.